It's a haunted house, but this is a movie with a very different perspective. Let's talk about presence. Hey everyone, this is David Starr from Watch Our Past. I'm here to talk to you about Presence, which is coming to theaters on January 24th, 2025. It is a new thriller that deals with a haunting, but it has a very different perspective than most of the movies we've seen. My hot take is I think you should watch it later. It's an interesting take on a horror film. It's got haunting music and a great perspective, but it also seems to focus more on the drama than any sort of horror aspect. I was expecting this to be scary. It wasn't scary. It was much more voyeuristic, which I think is the idea, but that's not what I was looking for. So I definitely think you should check it out. Eventually, just wait for it to come to streaming or on demand. But all that being said, I'm going to tell you about the film, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like. Really quickly go into a recap. As you can imagine, there'll be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't know what happens in this movie, I would turn off when I get to the recap. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. That's when I get to those spoilers. So in Presence, you have a family moving into a suburban house, but they quickly become aware that maybe they aren't alone there. And what could this thing want? And why does it keep interfering with them? Well, you have to watch the movie to find out. So, things I liked about this movie. The first, I love the music. I thought it was hauntingly beautiful. It had really great piano music to start. It had really great music throughout. The music definitely set the tone right from the start. I loved it. The second thing I liked the perspective. It's interesting. It's told from the ghost's perspective. So it explains why the camera moves around the house. It explains how it moves effortlessly. It can watch people. It's interesting. I didn't love it, but I liked the different perspective. I thought it was, something that was unique about this film and definitely changed kind of like what you normally see in a horror thriller movie. And the last thing I love the cinematography because it's from like the ghost perspective. You have these really long sweeping shots that follow the family around. It's very impressive, especially like one of the first shots. You almost go through the house and like the real estate like I don't remember how long it was. It was like a 5 minute, essentially one shot, and I was very impressed with that. There's a lot of them like that where you're following people around, you're following, what they're doing without any cuts, and it is very, very impressive. So, all that being said, things I didn't love as much. The first, there's some weird scene transitions. There's like a noticeable black screen between the scenes. It's a little distracting, a little bit longer than I expected. I don't know. It feels jarring. It didn't feel that weird for like a longer, like a 5 minute scene and another 5 minute scene, but you have some very short scenes and you'll have like almost like act cuts essentially. It's not that long, but it feels very weird when you've got some quicker scenes back to back. Having that transition there was really distracting. The second thing I didn't love, it's got just okay writing. It's not the best. It's not the most natural sounding. It's fine. It gets the job done, but I didn't love the writing as much as I would expect. And because this is like voyeuristic, because you're watching people, it's almost like a play at times, and the writing really needs to be sharp. And the last thing I didn't love as much, it's not scary or tense. I was never scared in a movie about a haunted house. You would think that you would want to be at least a little bit scared, a little bit tense, a little bit worried. Never had that. It's not really a horror movie, even though it kind of feels like one from the marketing materials and from the poster and things like that. It is not scary at all. So, all that being said, Presence comes to theaters on January 24th, 2025. Like I said, I think you should watch it later. Wait for it to come to streaming or on demand. But if you do see it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And I'm going to really quickly go into a recap right now. So if you don't know what happens in this movie, I would turn it off now because there'll be spoilers. So Presence starts in kind of a creepy way, which I liked. It's got an empty, dark house, and we see something going through it. Now, you don't see the thing. You kind of like see the camera sweeping through because you are watching from the ghost's perspective. But I thought it was creepy at the start, but it also ends up being kind of lonely. I think that that's the point. I think this presence is just there. It's lonely. It's not really scary. It's just kind of lonely. Now, the house is being sold. The new family comes in, they buy the house. It's a family of four. There's a mother, a father, a daughter, and a son. But you early on get a sense that there's something going on with this house. After they buy it, some painters come, and one of them refuses to go into a room. I don't know if he doesn't like that room. The implication is that the room is like haunted or something in there. So you get a sense that there is something in this room. Now, the family moves in, but like I said, it is more drama than scary. It seems like there is a lot going on in this family. The mom, played by Lucy Liu, seems to have done something at work that maybe is not the most legal, and that is causing some tension between her and her husband, played by Chris Sullivan. He starts to get worried that maybe he will be implicated. Like, if she did some crime, is he going to be on the hook for it? What can he do to protect himself? Things like that. But that causes some tension in their relationship. Now, the son, Tyler, seems to be an athlete, seems to be kind of a jerk. He's a little bit kind of egotistical, it seems like, but he kind of has good reason because his sister is the reason they had to move. It seems like she had a friend named Nadia who eventually died. Seems like maybe she was a girlfriend, maybe best friend, not really sure, but she eventually died. Nadia just kind of stopped breathing in her sleep, and this really affected Chloe. Chloe is crying sometimes. She seemed to kind of like not be able to continue at her old school, and that is kind of why this family is moving, to kind of give everyone a fresh start. Now, early on, Tyler makes friends with this person named Ryan, and when Ryan and Chloe first meet, it's, like sup, sup, very awkward, but it seems like eventually Chloe and Ryan start hooking up. She's very different when she's just with Ryan than when she's with her family. Probably like a lot of Asian children, much more proper with a family, less proper without. And when she and Ryan are by themselves, she drinks. She is hooking up with Ryan. They start making out, and then the shelves fall. And you're like, that's weird. Like, does the ghost not want them to do this? We'll see. Now, we find out that it's not just one girl, it's not just Nadia that died. There were two girls that died, and Chloe knew both of them. And it seems like maybe Tyler was kind of involved in this. I think there was some sort of image that they talk about that it seems like Tyler posted. And when Tyler says this, the presence goes up to Tyler's room and just destroys it. So it seems like it's a vengeful presence. Chloe is convinced that this is Nadia. This is Nadia's spirit. And maybe that's the case. It destroyed the shelves when Chloe and Ryan were hooking up. It destroyed Tyler's room when it found out that like Tyler posted some photo. They call a realtor to try to figure out what's happening. They send someone who has a second sight who basically says that there's a presence there, but doesn't know what it wants. Not super useful. Now, Chloe and Ryan continue to hook up, and during one of their hookups, Ryan drugs her drink. And you're like, why? You just hooked up. Why would you drug her drink? It looks like maybe he's gonna do something to her, but before she's able to drink that drink, the president shakes the table and knocks it over. So later, the parents are going on a trip, and this means the kids are there by themselves. And so they hang out. Tyler's listening to music, they're drinking. There's one scene where you go into the room, and I'm like, how many lamps do they have? It looked like they had 7 lamps in one room. I can't even imagine trying to turn all those on. Like, I hope they're all smart lamps because that would be impossible to try to like click each individual one. It's a cool looking scene, but I was like, that doesn't seem very practical. That was just a little random aside. Now, Chloe and Tyler are home alone. They drink, they hang out. Eventually, Tyler seems to see the presence. Now, Ryan decides to come over, and he and Tyler are drinking. He drugs Tyler's drinking. Like, that's really weird. I was like, maybe so he can hook up with Chloe, I guess. Maybe he wanted to like put Tyler to sleep. Now, Tyler eventually passes out. And then Ryan makes another drug drink. And you're like, dude, Ryan, come on, what are you doing? So Ryan takes this drug drink up to Chloe. They start kissing, and then Chloe eventually tells him that she doesn't want to do this. She needs to get herself better. She needs to figure out what's going on with her before she's able to be with someone. She needs to work on herself before she can like give herself to someone else. Now, Ryan asks, like, hey, can we at least just talk? And then gives her the drink. They drink the drink, and after Chloe drinks her drug drink, she starts to pass out. It looks like Ryan's gonna do something. And you think, like, is he gonna like assault her? Is he gonna rape her? No, no, no. Ryan is a serial killer, apparently. Almost a serial killer. This would be number 3, so this would be a serial killer. It turns out that Ryan really likes having control, and I guess really likes people passed out and killing them, and that's his thing. That's his kink, I guess. That gives him what he wants, and so it looks like he is going to suffocate her. Turns out that Ryan wants her to feel what the other two felt. So Ryan killed the first two people, same thing, drugged them, and then while they're drugged, while they're like asleep, put cellophane over their mouth so they would suffocate. So he is like playing with Chloe, like causing her not to breathe. And as this is happening, the presence is freaking out. And it goes down to Tyler and seems to like scream in his ear. Tyler like wakes up from his drug-induced slumber, goes upstairs, sees Ryan and like Chloe on the bed, and like grabs Ryan and jumps out the window. And I was like, okay, like good, Tyler, protecting your sister. But in the scheme of things, unless the presence like gave him something, unless the presence like controlled him, which it might have, you don't know. You don't know what the presence can do. That seems very, very quick. Like he should have at least said, Ryan, what are you doing? And Ryan would have been like, oh, nothing. And then Chloe would have been like completely unresponsive, maybe with some cellophane over her mouth. And then Tyler could have been like, what are you doing to my sister? Stop. And then boom. Now, if the presence did take over, if the presence is Nadia and trying to get revenge against Ryan, that would be different. Like the presence takes over Ryan, goes upstairs, freaks out, takes Ryan, throws him out the window with him. There we go. I don't know why Tyler didn't also need to go out the window. I feel like he could have just thrown Ryan out the window. Tyler's a little bigger than Ryan. I don't know. We'll see. But that's what happens. They both fall out the window. They both die. Seems like Chloe is saved. So fast forward a little bit. Chloe's alive. It looks like they're moving out. But the mom is a mess. I mean, she loved Tyler. She like openly said that he was her favorite. And I guess Tyler died in that fall. So after they're moving out, the house is kind of empty. The mom walks around the house. She sees Tyler in one of these mirrors and just starts freaking out and starts crying. Seems like maybe Tyler is now the presence in the house. I don't know if this is like a conduit, a holding cell. I'm not sure why Tyler's bound there, but that seems to be what happened. And that's all we get. That's presence. Like I said, I thought it was interesting. I liked the perspective. I thought it kind of had some good music, beautiful cinematography, and also good special effects. Like they seemed more on the practical side. They seem, they were kind of trick kind of special effects, but I appreciate it. It didn't seem like they used much CG at all. But I didn't really love that it wasn't scary. Didn't really feel like a horror movie. It felt more like a ghost story versus like a horror movie. So I think you should watch it eventually. Just wait for it to come to streaming or on demand. But if you do see it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.